Hey, MacDowin here. Today we're taking a look at another brand new League of Legends action figure set. These are the smaller 4-inch figures, not the large 6-inch figures. And I notice at the bottom, I've got a pointer because the box is so big I'm a little far away, but this says the Champion Collection, which the 6-inch figure also stated. So apparently all these figures, this entire line, is part of the Champion Collection. This is a dual cities pack, so it says over in the lower left hand corner. And it's a first edition, as it says in the top right corner. Actually, if you can even see that. Let's move the light there. Now you can see that sticker. I got this from Amazon for $49.99, and from what I understand, these actually are not supposed to be out until like the first week or so of October. At least I had Target pre-orders in, and that's what they said. This is by Spin Master, as it shows in the bottom right corner, and this is some really cool artwork, I just gotta say. Let's go ahead and flip around and look at the back side of the box. One interesting thing that I noticed here on the back has to do with a couple heads. These two specifically, maybe this one as well, the heads look different than what's in there. I don't know if it's a sculpting thing, I don't know if it's a paint thing, but if you get one of these sets, look a little bit closer for yourself and notice these three heads. These ones looked pretty much identical, pretty much the same. But yeah, so that's what I was noticing from that. And here's the barcode for those of you who want to see it. Let's get these figures out of the box and take a look at them. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and please subscribe so you'll be notified of future videos. Here they are out of the box. They are holding their accessories. We get 5 figure stands. They are very cool. These are not compatible with the 6-inch, even though they look similar. These ones are smaller, the 6-inch ones are larger, and so they are not compatible. The way these figures stand, you will probably be using these figure stands. Gonna scoot them off to the side for the moment. Let's jump in and take a look at each figure individually now. First, we'll take a look at Caitlyn. She's got a rifle, a sniper rifle of some sort. If we can get it out of her hand there. Set her down. So that's a pretty interesting weapon. It's not painted at all. It's got this, I don't know, kind of a rose gold, an interesting color to it, but it's very interesting. It's a neat looking weapon. It's not as bendy as the ends are more bendy than the middle. The figure, I think, is really cool. Of all of them, this may be my favorite. She gives off this kind of like a steampunk vibe, and so this is one of the figures that kind of sold me on this set. Let's take a look at the articulation. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, and this type of articulation runs through all these 4-inch figures and probably all the future ones, and it's very similar to the DC and Batman articulation. There's a couple, actually there's one main difference. So the head is on a ball joint, so it rotates around. You can bend it back and forth a little bit, but I don't know if it's really designed or meant to be moved like that, but you can rotate the head around. The shoulders rotate all the way around. They can go up like so, about that far, but that's about it. The elbows rotate, have a hinge. You do get a 90-degree there out of that. There is no articulation at the wrist, nothing whatsoever. There is no articulation here at the waist. There is, I think it's a ball joint here at the torso. So there's really nothing, no going back and forth. There's no crunching. She just kind of rotates a little bit. Not much at all. If you wanted to do the splits, she can do the splits because her skirt, well, has splits on the side. So that allows the legs to go up more than they would. The skirt is kind of a soft rubber piece. She does have thigh rotations, as you can see right there. Single pin, actually it's not even a pin, it's just a rotation joint that has a hinge. So the knee rotates back and forth and hinges as well. And there is nothing at the ankle. So it's missing what I would classify as a couple crucial points of articulation. Ankles and wrists and waist. Let me, if we can get her to stand. Stay there. We can bring in a Superman figure from the same company. So Spin Master makes these figures. And I've picked up a few of these DC and Batman figures for a while, and I have told people that these are a nearly perfect action figure as far as I'm concerned. The only thing that's really missing is a waist articulation. I think the waist added for these figures would do a lot. Sorry, I don't mean to make that sound like I'm suddenly jumping into a review of another figure. But when I saw these figures, they have belts and they have things here that made you think that there was some waist articulation. One other thing I'm noticing about the figures is they seem to be posed. So if you look at her right arm there, notice her wrist is kind of bent in a little bit. So on some of these figures, they've done some pre-posing. Or for example, that hand on the left, you're not going to put anything in this hand. She won't be able to hold anything. It's designed to, well, let me get her arm up there. It's designed to hold on to her gun, essentially. And one problem is, it actually, if you could rotate the wrist, then you could hold this gun so much better. But as it is, let me see if I can get it in here. The way the wrist is, this is about as good as you get with her holding that gun. Because the right wrist is bent, so you have to position it a certain way. And if you ask me, I don't know how many people actually hold a gun this way, but it looks kind of not safe. It doesn't look the greatest how they're holding. I'm going to have to look back at some promo pictures and maybe I'm missing something. But the figure looks nice. It really actually looks like a good figure. It's just, I'm not a huge fan of pre-posing or building posing in to the articulation of a figure, or into the style, sculpt, design of a figure, whatever. It's an action figure. I want all the parts to be articulate that I need so I can put it in a pose. That's why I buy an action figure and not a statue, so I can pose it the way I want to see it posed. And then this limits. I remember G.I. Joe tried that for a while. They built in, designed in posing, and the figures were actually not the best. I mean, I don't want to call G.I. Joe figures junk, but yeah, they weren't great. All right. We'll talk about standing in a moment. Let's jump to the next character. Here we have Ekko, and he looks good. I like him too. I think his look is really awesome. We turn him around, you see he's got this backpack on. Well, guess what? You can't take it off. It does not. It's like glued attached either to this harness belt or him. It may just be the harness belt, which is also attached to the figure. So he's got this big backpack. Well, it's not really a backpack, it's a tank, but you can't take it off. That seems odd. I don't know why they would do that. He's got this really cool, unrealistic sword that we're used to seeing in, things like anime or video games, role-playing games like Final Fantasy. I remember seeing swords like this. I think they're cool. Okay, so articulation, as I mentioned earlier with Caitlyn, he's got the exact same. His head rotates back and forth. There's no bobbing. His arm rotates around and lifts up. He's got 90 degree. Really, this articulation is great on the figures. It's smooth. It's nice. It's not stuck when it comes out of the package. You don't think you're going to snap something off the second you open it up. He does have knee joints under here, bends and swivels, and again, he's kind of posed. He used probably one of the more difficult ones for me to have gotten to stand, because the pants are a little bit weighty and the upper portion is not. So yeah, he just bends around like that, doesn't go back and forth at all. So yeah, once I unpose them or unstand them, it's a little bit difficult. There we go, we got him to stand. You will be using these things quite a bit if you get this and you want them to do something interesting. All right, let's move on to the next figure. Here we have V, or Vi, it's V-I. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that, but she was another one that kind of grabbed my attention and kind of got my interest. There's something really cool about, big mech arms. One disappointment I have is they're not removable. They are designed and built into the figure. I think that would have been really cool that if you could have just slid them on or slid them off. The other thing is they're fists. They don't open. You can't put anything in her hands because they've been designed or created to be, you know, a fist. So yeah, this kind of makes her a little bit side heavy. It depends on where the hands are. If you do this, she's in front heavy. If they're back here, she's more rear heavy. Also, she's got some posed feet, so to speak. Because there's no ankle rotation, the tips of her toes go up. So you could put her in some sort of like a crouched position, maybe. So you got to be careful. The back parts of her feet, they don't like to stand very well. And that's unfortunate. I'm really liking these figures, and they're just about near perfect. There we go. I got her to stand. So you can get her to stand. She's probably the easiest one to stand of all 5 of these figures. But yeah, I mean, there's, you know, these gloves are great. Her head rotates back and forth. Her torso doesn't really do anything. She's got this like little V shape in this armor, so you can't really rotate her too much because it doesn't allow for that. But yeah, she's got her articulation in the legs, it's the same as everyone else. This one actually moves around pretty good. Unlike Caitlyn, she doesn't have like a skirt to hinder her legs, so you could get her down on a foot and a knee, and yeah, like that. But I think the figures, they look great. I don't have any complaints about how they look. I think these all look great, and if you want to get them to display, go for it. I think these would be really awesome to put on a shelf, or if you could figure out maybe with the use of these figure stands to get them into some sort of a battle pose. Wouldn't it be cool if her hands were open and you could put like some big honking sword in that hand? You know, a sword that's like double her height. You know, huge. I don't know. Maybe she can borrow Ekko's sword and like, argh. I don't know. I just think that'd be kind of cool. All right, next figure. Here we have Jinx. I kind of been thinking of this one as like the Harley Quinn of the set. She's just colorful. She's out there. She's like all over the place, and she's got crazy stuff. Like, look at this shark. The shark is kind of cool. We'll look at the shark in a minute. She's got this pink Pow Pow Minigun. I mean, there's so much here to like about this figure. She's just nuts. And that's in a good way, by the way. Let's get that off. It's easier. She's got these really long blue braids. So to try to tuck this in, like up over her shoulder, you gotta do like one of those strange games where you run the metal thing along without touching the metal bars, and it dings at you. But yeah, you just gotta tuck it around there and then pull the hair through there if you want it to be just like on her shoulder and over her side there. So it's a little bit tricky, but you can do it. It's not that bad. Get it off. Let's just, you know, take it down the way we did earlier. But yeah, she's a crazy looking figure, crazy looking character. And again, another very visually appealing action figure. Unfortunately, her feet have problems. They're like gummy feet. Maybe not as bad, but they like, can you see? They like bend really easy. And so trying to get her to stand, especially with her gear, is really, oh, there we go, she proved me wrong. But if you'll notice, she's not properly, oh, you can't see. She's not really properly standing. Her foot's not fully on the ground. It's just a very lucky balance. Also, the posing of this figure, she's got a swoop in here on her back. Like right there, if you can see that. That kind of gives her some odd weight dispersing issues, especially when she's holding on to weapons. So like, she kind of leans forward, but then leans back, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. But very cool looking figure. Okay, you know, I'm just getting her standing up left and right now. It's because she doesn't have this gear. But look at this, you know. This is a pink Pow Pow Minigun. That's pretty cool looking. She's got this shark. We'll set her down here. The shark is, for the most part, okay. It kind of makes me think of an eraser, truthfully. It's a little bit softer rubber in the front, harder rubber in the middle. The handle is super soft and wiggly. So when you go to put it in a hand, It's a little bit bendy to put in there. And I'm guessing that's how she holds on to it. I mean, I don't know how else you'd hold on to it. But, yeah. But, yeah, another neat looking figure that's got the same articulation as all the others. And I'm sure hoping this stuff has been staying in focus. Her hair is pretty cool. You get her head turned around, she's got these blue braids flipping out all over the place. Now, on a quick side note, this is actually an exclusive figure to, well, they're all exclusive, but I mean, this is an exclusive version of Jinx to this set. There will be a solo version of Jinx coming out as well. So I'm not quite sure what the difference is between the two, but I know there is a different one coming out. So we'll tuck her stuff on there and scoot her over, and let's look at the next one. Here we have Heimerdinger, probably one of the most interesting figures of this set. He's a little short guy. I'll put this Superman, who's 3.35 inches, up next to him. So I would almost say there's a chance he's close to 2 inches or just slightly over, possibly. But he's also a little... I'm really impressed at how much articulation that this figure has for this size of it. It does look very cool. It's a very neat figure. We get the inventor, so all the... That's why he's got these, like, tools right here. And he comes with his turret. Let's see, the H28G Evolution turret is what I looked up earlier. It's kind of soft. I don't know. It's not... The main body is tough, but... Now, he's got interesting articulation. It's pretty much the same as the others. His head rotates back and forth. I don't think it's on a ball joint. It might be. His arms rotate and can lift up, but there's nothing at the elbow. Nothing at the elbow, nothing at the wrist, nothing at the torso, but there is waist with this one. But for some reason, I really can't get him to turn all that well. I feel like I'm going to twist him in half if I force the turn more than necessary. He also has a ball joint at the waist, the upper leg area, and he's got a thigh rotation. Yes, he does. He's got thigh rotation. He's almost got all the same articulation. I'm actually impressed. He's got more articulation than I would have expected in a figure this size. It's really cool. You could do a lot probably with this little figure. Getting him to stand is kind of difficult because his head, he's got a really heavy head. And so he likes to fall over, or mostly it's fall over. I guess it's more front heavy than anything. But, oh, there we go. Finally I'm to fall back. But, yeah, trying to get him to stand. And it could be because I'm reaching around a camera. There we go. To try to make this happen. But he is a little bit difficult to get going. To get up there. So we'll get him on a figure stand. He looks shrimpy next to there. Now it doesn't look so bad. He's got his turret on the figure stand with him. But, yeah, it's another fun... These are all really fun looking figures. There's a funness. I know that's not really a word, but there's something fun about these action figures. Got that cranked up there. I don't know. Something like that. So how do these line up with other action figures? Well, I'm going to pull out a Marauders figure. I'll put a Marauders figure here. Get him to actually stand. Great. They're all not standing. So there's a Marauders figure next to her. And here is a Halo figure that we'll put there. Maybe. There we go. Something like that. And let's see. What else do I got over here? Well, we know that here's a Spin Master Superman. So they're about the same height. So she's about 3.74 inches tall. This is a 4-inch figure, so with that hat, she's probably 4.25 inches. They're all a variety. So you could intermix some of these figures really pretty good. I don't actually have a regular Fortnite figure, so I've got Peely. So Peely is actually on par height-wise with her. Maybe just a tad taller. So we'll get these figures out of here now. Sorry, a little bit of a disjointed review. I just want to talk in general about all these figures and about some of their things here. So we'll get Peely out of the way. And then the box set comes with one more item that I think is really cool. And that is a poster. No, that's not the entire poster, but it's actually good size. May have to back up my camera. Can we get it to stand there? Almost. Can't really get it to stand, but let's do this. And we'll try it again. No, you can't even see that whole thing. So, I do not have a wide enough camera angle or camera lens to show this to you fully. But what we got here is essentially a poster of all the figures, or all the characters. Yeah. And on the back, it's pretty cool. There is a checklist. Kind of. At least a checklist of what they've currently released. Here's the 5-figure box set up here. And here are the first 3 figures there. And then the 6-inch figures down here. It's actually kind of interesting. They have the Champion collection right there, making it look like it's just these figures, but apparently a Champion collection is all of them. So that's what I got for you today. These are really interesting action figures. I do like them. I think they visually look really awesome, and I think they would be great for anybody's collection, especially if you really like this game. I think they would be pretty good. Stand them up, or pose them, stand them up, put them in a scene, whatever. I think they look pretty good. So there you go. There's kind of a disjointed review. Kind of all over the place there, doing my best to show you these things. I'm in an odd setup at the moment, but yeah, that's what I got for you today. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for watching. If you're still watching, I really appreciate it. If you found this helpful at all, please hit that like button, and feel free to share this everywhere, because it helps the channel to grow so much. People sharing it from within YouTube on their social network accounts, it really does help a lot. Before you head out of here, before you get completely gone, check out my review of the 6-inch Zed figure, the first League of Legends 6-inch figure that I reviewed yesterday. And yeah, then we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.